Hello to all of my race fans out there. Welcome to Season 6. I'm your host, Eric Elkins, here on Backseat Broadcast. We're doing Apex at Interlagos this week. Famous track in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Just wrapping up a little bit of qualifying. Of course, the Sundays, we kick it off with the MX-5s this evening. We got a little bit of practice to finish up, and then we are going to do that 10-minute qualifying session. Something we haven't really discussed lately has been the places made up. That's definitely counted for the MX-5s, but I don't know if that counts for the rest of the classes. We'll have to check on that. So we just got under 4 minutes to go. And we're going to get into that qualifying this evening. We got about 15 runners on track at the moment. Adam Baltudis here has been second fastest. Not the longest of laps, and it's debatably a simple racetrack. Not a lot of turns in there. And these long straights. It's quite easy to get this track right, and I expect these guys to be mainly racing each other this evening. And it's good that a lot of those lap times are in there pretty close to one another. That is good to see. It's good to see Michael McCoy joining the iRacing servers yet again. During this last session in Charlotte. We're missing a few of our regulars here this evening, though. Don't see any Bjorn Benches or Corey Mitchell on track or in the server at the moment, but we still have a few minutes to go. They might just hop in at the last second. I know Corey just got some new gear, so maybe he's messing with it a little bit. Hasn't quite gotten it to behave for in time to join us. We have almost enough time. Let's see if Adam keeps going around. See if we can't do a lap with him here. He's going to give up on that one. Here's Paul Simmons and Joe, currently running 6th. He's in the infield here. Here's Ken Kruger, looking like he has a lot of control with that throttle pedal and some good shifts as well. It's definitely using all of the racetrack. And practice is over. We're going to hop right into that qualifying session right now. Take a quick look at the race info, see what the track's looking like at 85 degrees. And air temp's only 77 out there. We got 40 minutes, and don't forget about that 17X will get you disqualified from this race. Here's Michael McCoy coming around, getting onto the back straight here. And I wonder how much everybody's setting these cars up for the top line speed here, because you can really make some moves down the long back straight, especially with these MX-5s. If you use that slipstream to your advantage, it can be very deadly. Sounds like he just got up to 5th gear there. Oh, having a little off track and getting a little out of shape. So Andres Garcia is a little bit more conservative, but he's still whipping it around, leaving some tread marks down. Adam Baltudis, he comes around to start his lap. And there's no gear changes on these cars. They're pretty stock. There's not much you can change on them. So depending on your ride height and suspension stiffness, it's really what will play into, it's also your tire pressure will play into that top line speed. The gears that you will get into. I saw the F1 official iRacing whatever Grand Prix series that they run here. I think it was week 1 or 2 was here, and there was one guy who was just eating the 1X every single time he went off track. He didn't get a slowdown there, and he, for some weird reason, it was pretty lame. He just went super wide on that double left-hander. And I guess he just managed to shave off a little bit of time, but it's definitely not in the spirit of things. Michael McCoy's first across the line. He's easily into the 155s there. Craig Ream is able to get into the 154s on his first lap. Paul Simmons Ochoa does a 155.093 for second. Ken Kruger comes in 4th, followed by Andres Garcia in 5th. David Fendick racks up good enough for 6th at the moment. Mark Bray gets on the time sheet with a 158.7. Here's Edwin Martinez coming down the straight to set his first time. Craig Ream has an off track. Adam Baltudis is good enough for 4th place. Edwin not able to get on the board. Adam is probably going to give us a couple better laps than 4th, I think, there. Troy Banks comes down the pit straight He's not going to get on the board this lap. Matthew Cesario is out on track. John Miller is also out on track. He loves Sundays. No prototypes out there today. And at the moment, it's Craig Ream sitting in pole position, followed by Paul Simmons at Showa, Michael McCoy, Adam Baltutis, Kent Kruger. Andres Garcia seems to have a little off track there. Mark Bray, and then David Fendick. And here is Matthew Cesario and John Miller pretty much in the same place coming down the pit straight. Edwin Martinez is in the infield, as is the identical runner of Troy Banks. Matthew Cesario crosses the line. Good enough for 6th. John Miller maybe just doing an outlap there. Kent Kruger into 3rd with a 1:55.442. And relegates Michael McCoy down to 4th and Adam Baltutis to 5th. Adam Baltutis puts in a great lap, a 1:54.4. Oh, he's just 1/1000th faster than Craig Ream there, you can see. But I reckon these guys could do even better, as he really takes it wide out of the Curva de Sol there. One of my favorite turns right here, the Pico de Pato, which is the duck bill. The tight, pretty much the tightest little hairpin they have on this track. Michael McCoy is in the pits. Paul Simmons at Showa has an off track back there. That's not going to count for him. Kent Kruger's currently in 4th. He gets real wide on that exit, but I think that's going to be good. There's a lot of extra AstroTurf curbing out there on a lot of the runoff areas on this track, which is hard to trust sometimes. Not to go too far. Currently he's in 4th. Mark Bray is in 11th. David Fendick goes a little bit faster into 10th. Adam Baltutis is off track. Kent Kruger crosses the line, not any better. And we're 8 minutes into qualifying. Is anybody going to be able to up their status at the moment? Paul Simmons at Showa having another off-track issue. Edwin Martinez is not able to go any faster. Michael McCoy is leaving the pits on an outlap. That is not going to give him enough time, perhaps, just to check a couple setups. Maybe just give him a little time with a full tank of fuel, just to get the feel of it. Not a bad idea if you're comfortable where you are in your qualifying standings. You don't boof it on the first lap like we've seen a few guys do after having dynamite qualifying sessions this season. Troy Banks is going to stay in 9th at the moment. Craig Ream is out there, but he might have enough time. He's got 20 seconds to get across the line, but I think this might be an outlap anyways. He's certainly going slowly now. Michael McCoy has a little off track there. And then we got Mark Bray down in 11th. John Miller also on track, but wants to start from the back, I guess, this evening. He might be a extremely late arrival to the lobby. So let's run down that race grid for you. We got Adam Baltutis on pole position by 1/1000th. Well done, Adam, followed by Craig Ream really putting them under some pressure. Then on row 2, we got Paul Simmons-Ochoa and Kent Kruger, followed by Michael McCoy, Edwin Martinez, Matthew Cesario in 7th, Andres Garcia, Troy Banks, and David Fendix in 10th. Then we have Mark Bray and John Miller, and that's it for the full race grid this evening. And here we are heading into the infield, waiting for everybody to grid up here for this rolling start. All right, we are ready to shove off and get these tires heated up a little bit on this outlap. Craig Ream and Adam Baltutis, that should be an excellent matchup for the rest of this race. See what everybody's race pace is looking like with all that fuel on board. It's going to feel a little bit different out there. And with the pressure of having to race people around you, you're definitely going to be losing some time here and there. Oh, we have, let's see. Oh my God, Valerie has joined us. I can't believe it. I'm like, it's my timing screen. I thought it was broken before I thought Valerie would be on track. Then we got Mark Bray, Dustin Burkhalter, and James Dean behind them. We got some late arrivals for us this evening as the safety car is about to come in. We got Adam Baltutis and Craig Ream on the top of this longer pack now. We got 14 runners. We're going to see when Adam decides to punch it here. And they're off racing now. Coming down to turn 1. Everybody looks to be getting okay. Getting through okay. Oh, it's Craig Ream though. Oh, almost loses it. That's Kent Kruger in the back having major issues. Oh, and taking out some people for good measure. Adam Baltutis retains the lead after Craig Ream's little slip up. Paul Simmons-Ochoa bleeds off a little bit of time. In the meantime, Michael McCoy on the inside here is going to take second place if he can hold on to this car. Paul putting him under a lot of pressure for that second place. And that's Andres Garcia hopping up to 4th there and possibly able to take 3rd on the outside here if he can outbrake Paul and not punt Michael while he's at it. Paul is not letting Michael have that second place that easily though. He's going to stay with him. But not able to retain it for that long. Dustin Burkhalter already up 5 positions. And there is Kent Kruger all the way in the back. John Miller It says it's behind him, but I don't believe so. It's like that weird, stupid thinks he's lapped, but he just started from the pits. As Kent Kruger is now putting Edwin Martinez under a bunch of pressure, trying to get back up there. Oh, we got great racing back up for the third place position. They're all stacked up there. That's Paul Simmons Ochoa, followed by Andres Garcia, Matthew Cesario. Craig Ream is now down to 6th. He's dropped 4 positions since the beginning of this race. This is the area that I thought was going to be so deadly with the slipstream here if you can stay in it. But then again, the whole train is lined up, so the only person who's just not getting that benefit is the guy in the front. As you see Matthew Cesario take to the inside there. Oh, and he almost kisses with Craig Ream, and it's so difficult, but everybody's tires are heating up now, and they're feeling a little bit better. That's Kent Kruger trying to take to the outside of James Dean ahead of him. They're 2 by 2. The ants go marching down this straight. And Matthew Cesario is just going to outbrake everybody. Craig Ream tries to get his nose in there. He's got Dustin Burkhalter just behind him, who's made up 6 already. He doesn't want to make it 7. He comes so close to his rear bumper. And he is not afraid to use those tires early on. Dusty takes to the inside there as we go almost 3 abreast. Craig Ream makes one up on Matthew Cesario, as does Andres Garcia just ahead of him. That battle for second place is still going on with Paul Simmons Ochoa just about 0.7 back on Michael McCoy. Adam Baltutis, after Craig Ream had that little issue at the very beginning, had to get out of that one. Let's go back and check out the beginning of this race. Here is Kent Kruger coming around the side here. You see Craig Ream ahead of him in the white car get a little sideways. Oh, and Kent just loses the rear end, and he does hit somebody. I don't know who that was back there, but that's how Edwin Martinez also ended up back there. And Andres Garcia trying to hold on against Craig Ream after his poor start. He's got that place done, but Andres just, heavens, and Matthew Cesario really comes in real heavy and late there as he was fighting his own battle with Dustin Burkhalter, which was pretty inevitable, and he sort of ruined Craig's little move there, although it looked like Andres was really taking that one over, which did sort of get in the way of Matthew and Dustin behind them. In a way, there was nowhere to go, and that's Paul, just 0.3 now on Michael, who's sitting in second place, but they got a good 2 seconds to Andres Garcia, or nearly 2 seconds. Oh, and that's Dustin Burkhalter taking to the inside of Troy Banks, making it 8 positions made up so far. That's an extra 2 points for him this evening. And looks like he is not going to stop this evening. He really enjoys the Miatas. He's got Andres Garcia, who's already knocked off 2/10 since he got ahead of Troy just there. So the hunt is on for 4th place. Back up top, Michael McCoy is holding steady for the moment. That's Adam Baltutis in the blue. Kent Kruger trying to get Mark Bray done here. He really sending around the outside there with a lot of speed coming onto the back straight. And David Fendick just behind them. We have James Dean, Ty Johnson, and is not on track, excuse me. But back up, Michael McCoy might have an issue if Paul Simmons Ochoa tries to outbrake him here, but he knows he can't do it from back there, and that will end up losing him some time. Although, wow, Paul's down the Senna S there. Able to stay with Michael, surprisingly. Thought Michael was going to have the exit for him there, but He's got to look out for this slipstream. Paul's going to take to the inside, which is the spot to be down at the end of this straight. And Michael just tries to brake as late as he can and maintain as much speed. And if you are on the outside and still have it here, you can really retain your edge. Just a little bit of extra slingshot around the outside, follow into this right-hander here. You're going to have the upper leg, as Michael does. He retains second place for the moment going into the infield. A little bit further back, Dustin Burkhalter has Craig Ream just behind him, and Troy Banks just behind him. These guys feeling very much in control of their cars at the moment. Craig's made up 2 positions since his early issue. Oh, sorry about that, folks. That's that little bit we were watching earlier. Here is Craig Ream trying to put Dustin under a lot of pressure, get his nose in there, have him go extra wide, put him off. He's going to take to the inside here. And they drag race. Brave on the brakes. Dustin goes very wide, almost loses the rear end there, holds on to it and gets right back in line behind Craig. Great racing, put back just ahead of the S's there. Oh, Michael McCoy has had an issue, it appears. Let's see what had happened. That's Michael McCoy on the outside, Paul on the inside. Oh, they have a little touch there. It looked like Michael gave him the old squeeze there. Matthew Cesari, Andres Garcia said thank you very much. He just really slicked his car in there for that final podium position. And Michael is dropped down to 4th. And he's got to look out for Craig Ream now. As you can see, that pack of guys behind him. Now he's only 0.2 behind him. Michael's really got to look out, and that's Andres Garcia on the outside, who is left out to dry. Michael just needs to put up his car in the middle of the road, make a perfect line here, and he can feed Andres into the clutches of Craig Ream and have them burn up some time against each other. But then Craig Ream is debatably, those 2 behind Andres are debatably pretty fast in these things. So, oh, and there's Dustin really using every bit of the track back there. And Michael with a half second, a quarter second between the next couple guys behind Andres. It's all going to climax up into this first turn here. Oh, and Paul Simmons at show is up there too. Oh, a little mischief there from Dustin Burkhalter. Craig Ream does make it ahead of Andres Garcia, but now, and he's right on the tail of Michael McCoy, nearly pushing him down the track. Craig Ream's done a fantastic job to be within a second of second place. Yet again, that's Michael McCoy having to go off track to avoid more damage, and he's given that place up. He has to for 3rd. No, he hasn't. He's back on the inside. He thinks he might be able to get something. Oh, not enough purchase there, and Craig Ream goes through, who is now 0.8 away from his starting grid position of second place. Adam Baltudis 5 seconds up the road. So he's not going to get the battle that he thought, as Paul Simmons at show is almost drifting this car around, trying to keep it out of the clutches of Craig Ream. Craig seemingly with very steady steering inputs. Dustin Burkhalter loses a place, not able to stay up there. He might get one place back here to make it 8 places made up. Incredible. Since the start of the race, we're only 11 minutes in. And he's got that one on Andres Garcia done. Oh, goodness gracious. Craig Reams already got that one. Sorry. It's all been happening so fast. It happened just as Dustin was making that move. And that's Michael to the inside. Just giving them something to think about. That's Paul just throwing it back in there and getting that place back. He's being very courteous to Craig and letting him come back in there. Not cutting off turn 2. But has turn 3 all to himself. Riding on board with Michael McCoy here. Oh, and Paul Simmons Ochoa goes quite wide. That's the area I was talking about. That F1 driver was just taking full advantage of that going wide and just pretty much staying on the gas as much as he could. It did not seem to save Paul anytime, as he definitely, was prepared to take that line. Craig is back up to second. Michael trying to get back up to third. Not going to happen on this next left-hander. It takes... Oh. Paul leaves the door open on the inside for Michael to put his nose in there. Craig's going to love that, as that's going to free them up a little bit. As are Andres and Dustin. And Troy Banks, I might add, who's bringing up the rear and watching this whole... This is 7th to 2nd place here. Great run of cars. And that's Troy to Dustin. To Andres. Michael. Paul Simmons Ochoa. And then that's Craig Ream in 2nd place ahead of him. Oof. And that's Troy Banks able to get one up on Andres Garcia. And Michael trying to get that 2nd place from Paul. Nothing having. And a little bit further back, that's John Miller, who's moved himself up to 8th. Being tracked down there by Andres Garcia. Sorry, Matthew Cesario. Here's Mark Bray riding back in 12th position at the moment. He's got James Dean just behind him. They're having a nice little battle back here. Albeit not for the top 10 or some extra points, but good bit of pride and fun racing. Here's Dustin Burkhalter. Until the end of the lap. Michael McCoy has to take a compromised line to the inside, which may be the smartest strategy. Nice big racetrack. These guys are really racing each other, as I thought it would be this evening. And that strategy has paid off as he stays to the inside that entire straight. And Dustin Burkhalter cutting back and forth, trying. He's really great at the cutback moves, and he's got it done here. What a silky little move by Dustin Burkhalter there. And now he has the inside, and Troy Banks is just behind Michael. Dustin was just weaving it back and forth there. And Troy Banks almost getting his nose in there. Michael's not going to want to let that go so easily, though. He's trying his hardest to get his nose back in there. But he's got to watch out what he's doing, because Troy Banks needs no invitation to make up some more places. He's already up 3 this race. And Troy Banks, honestly, he's less than 2 seconds away from a podium position. No comment, just saying. We're 18 minutes, 17 minutes into this race. Mark Bray's able to pull off a little bit from James Dean down there in 13th. David Fendick is riding in 11th at the moment. Kent Kruger just ahead of him into the top 10. An unfortunate start to his race as he came down the S's. And you just gotta, so easy to get so excited, you just gotta hold on to it. Here's Troy Banks. He's made that move on Michael McCoy, who does not take his previous strategy of holding on to the inside there, which despite his best efforts, he wasn't able to hold him off. And that's Michael McCoy really late on the brakes. And that's going to be a, I was going to say a very compromised line from Troy Banks, which it sort of has been. And that's Andres Garcia, who's going to be all over his bumper as a result. Here's Paul Simmons-Ochoa and Dustin Burkhalter fighting for that final podium position. Dustin looks to have it done unless Paul really pulls ahead. He's just a hair ahead, and he's on the inside for the next 2. So he's going to hold on temporarily, but Dustin's going to know what's happening and try to get that cut back again any way he can have it. Here would not be a great moment for him to do it, but possibly at the end of this lap. Oh, and he's getting pushed onto the grass there. He wanted to make it to the inside of that next turn. The Bico de Pato. And behind them, Michael McCoy holds on. John Miller has gotten himself in this pack, and then Troy Banks is there, who has just gotten passed by him. Oh, and it looks like Sean might have just given a little touch there to Michael. Andres Garcia is climbing all over Troy Banks, who almost sends it into John Miller into that final curve there. There's that battle for the final podium position. Paul holding on for the moment, taking to the inside, letting Dustin go outside if he wants it. John Miller all over Michael McCoy. Michael will probably stays to the outside here to do that late braking maneuver, but not against John, who is just takes so much speed into that turn. Michael might get a cutback maneuver here if he can keep up this momentum down the S's and around the curve of Sol. He's going to go real wide, as he is one to do here, and probably cut back to the inside. Let's see if he can't make it happen here. Paul Simmons-Ochoa is about to lose that podium position. And Michael McCoy. Oh, and Troy Banks is taken out by Andres Garcia. Just a little tap to the inside there. As you see, Andres take to the inside as Michael tried. Almost gets a little out of shape, and truth be told, I mean, there was a car width, but Troy probably could have left him a little bit more space. Made sure he was fat and happy coming out of that double left-hander there. Did cut a little tight. Dustin Burkhalter now up to 3rd. Paul Simmons-Ochoa followed by John Miller, who got that move done on Michael McCoy, followed by Andres Garcia after that little tap. Troy Banks only lost 1 position in that scrap, but he also lost an additional 8 seconds. He's closer to Kent Kruger, who's just 2 seconds back. Matthew Cesario is in 10th now. after his spin just a moment ago. David Fendix in 11th. Mark Bray is in 12th, followed by James Dean in 13th. And Paul Simmons Ochoa is coming right back at Dustin Burkhalter. He's not going to let him go that easy. Well done, Paul, to stay in the race. Oh, and he really had to take so much speed out of that turn. That brings John right into play. And Dustin is going to come off worse from that exchange. Going door to door, you can see here. Oh, Dustin having to go very wide there. Almost losing the rear end and just holding on to it during those downshifts. These are the only cars you have to heel toe brake on. And that's John Miller up to 4th. Dustin Burkhalter pushed down to 5th in the space of a lap. And that's John Miller going on the inside of Paul Simmons. And John Miller's up 9 position. Justin Burkhalter, albeit in 5th at the moment, has still made up 8. Paul Simmons Ochoa loses 1. Started in 3rd. For the time being, Craig Ream has really pulled off at the top of this race. He's now 1.3 behind a race leader of Adam Baltutis. He has done a fantastic job to climb back up to the top and put Adam under some pressure. Now they can have an actual race for themselves. Dustin Burkhalter is in the back of this pack here. He's trying to get the inside of Paul Simmons Ochoa. He's got to make sure he doesn't drive right into the back of John Miller ahead of him, who is in 3rd place. He has to go real wide there. Not a great exit. Paul is going to slip back in line. Dustin's off track. And he's going to lose a little bit of speed here. That might bring Michael McCoy into play, who's currently sitting 6th. Andres Garcia still in 7th behind this pack. Adam Baltutis has a little off track there. Now it's less than a second back to 2nd place. Ooh, Dustin Burkhalter on the inside. Making that one happen. Paul giving him just enough room. My God. Great racing there. Paul has been very aggressive, but in a great way to watch. He hasn't made any contact, I think, in the entire race. And no unnecessary contact or, anything that became anything. Andres Garcia is closing up to Michael McCoy. He's closing up to Dustin Burkhalter. A little bit further back, Mark Bray has lost that position to James Dean. He gets back on the inside, makes that happen. Here's your race lead. Here is the battle for the lead. Here's Craig Ream, who he's going to take to the inside. Adam hasn't had to race anybody this evening, so he hasn't really had the racecraft yet. Craig has been slicing through the pack and knows where all the maneuvers are to be had. Adam has really just been running practice laps and doesn't know quite how to fight around here like he does. And they go 3 wide into turn 1. John just ahead of Dustin Burkhalter, who's gotten, it's just as I thought it could have been last lap. Dustin's going to stay ahead of Paul. And Andres Garcia has managed to get ahead of Michael McCoy in all of that chaos. Michael cuts back to the inside to try to outbrake them. John Miller stays in 3rd place for the moment. These things are just understeer city. I love it. And Craig Ream still in the lead, although not able to pull away. And that could be a little bit of the power of the slipstream here. And these guys, like matter in space, tend to just cling on to each other. Things are starting to space out a little bit in this pack. I imagine these guys are starting to feel these tires a little bit, and they come into play. And when you're a little bit more spread apart, one guy's mistake doesn't just turn into a total pileup in a way. Not an actual pileup, but you know, sort of has everybody on top of each other. And that's Dustin Burkhalter. Really putting John under some pressure. He wants to get that place back and get out of sight of these guys. Troy Banks has made it back up to Kent Kruger. He might have had another issue somewhere. I know they've been battling for a few minutes. Here's how Kent got by Troy Banks here. I don't quite know. He must have had to slow down or something like that. But that's how he got by. This is them duking it out now. Got 11 minutes to run in this race. Dustin Burkhalter not able to catch back up to John Miller. In fact, he's fallen back into Paul Simmons and Showa's hands. Something about his setup and his tires not feeling the end of the race here. Somebody's got to take the racing line. It's Paul. Paul's better suited to let Dustin have that there and cut back onto the apex curbing and take the normal racing line as you were and leave Dustin to have a slow couple S's there, all out of sorts, and get him here on this straight. Oh, and he's not able to do it. He gets back to the racing line in time in the braking zone. That's Troy Banks, maybe able to get something here on Kent Kruger for 8th. Nothing doing here. Dustin Burkhalter's 1.2 behind. Adam Baltutis has fallen 1.1 behind your now race leader of Craig Ream, who must be feeling happy, but also nervous. Doesn't want to throw away all that hard work, and that's Craig Ream. Troy Banks to the inside of Kent Kruger. Good racing from these guys, as well as this nice little fight happening in the back of the pack. It's Mark Ray just getting it done on James Dean there. Oh, but James Dean finding all sorts of purchase late in this race with those tires. Also, like he's glued to the track. Looks like he's messing with him just to keep him with something to do. And Michael McCoy still not able to get around Andres Garcia. Michael McCoy started 2 positions ahead in 5th. Andres Garcia started 2 positions behind in 8th. Andres will certainly be happier with this situation here as Ken Kruger has to get on the brakes a little bit there and lose all that good work, and both of them get an X for their troubles. Adam Baltudis is barely making it under a second here to your race leader, Michael McCoy. Oh, sorry, I thought he was about to have a look. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Val. I didn't know you were still running with us here. I thought my timing screen said that you had checked out. And that is Valerie, and those are the race leaders coming up to the back of her. Thank you, Valerie, so much for this is great. We're going to have a little bit of traffic. I don't mean that insultingly at all. This is racing. And dealing with traffic is just part of racing sometimes. So this is for Craig Ream and Adam Baltudis to negotiate. Valerie is very kind and takes the outside of the curve of the sole. Oh, and Dustin Burkhalter able to claw up to John Miller. Kate Kruger still staying with Troy Banks ahead of Andres Garcia. Oh, it's passed. Of course I missed it. Sorry, I was just into just the end of the lap here. Michael gets that done. He probably stays right to the inside to finish that long pit straight. Back to John Miller, able to stay ahead. Oh, and Michael not able to hold on to the place and has to give it right back to Andres, who's probably putting him under a ton of pressure. Why does it's what is going on? It's like Shane Hunter passed Ty Johnson. Like they're not in the lobby. Are they in the lobby? Valerie's in the lobby. I'm all confused. Well, we're 5 minutes to go. That's all I know. Oh, as these guys are just swapping places back and forth into the final real turn of the lap. Michael's going to have a great exit from this and should be able to leave Andres in his dust a little bit there. As you see, John Miller is going to be under a ton of pressure here. He takes the inside. He's going to see how that does him. Adam Baltudis has dropped back a little bit. It's 1.4 up to Craig Ream. And Dustin doing that back and forth cutback move here. Whatever way John goes, Dustin will get a slingshot the other direction. And that's Valerie up ahead of them. And these guys have managed to pull out 3.7 ahead of Paul Simmons Ochoa. And something has started to work again for Dustin Burkhalter's car, and they're coming up to Valerie at less than optimal timing. You see Dustin's tires are starting to fade for him a little bit here. Michael McCoy able to stay ahead, but just barely. 3.5 on the board left in this race. Should be about 2 more race laps. Oh, you're freaking joking me. As I somehow disconnect my stupid headphones. Goodness gracious. Perfect timing. And 3 minutes to go. That is your race for the lead up at the top. It's now less than a second. We're going to have to pop over to iRacing and possibly do a little reset here. John Miller staying ahead of Dustin Burkhalter there. Come on, iRacing. I cannot believe you did this to me. Yes, exit the wizard. Yes. Please work. We have a little race sound back with us now. Sorry about that BS on the screen. My apologies. We got 2.5 on the board. And these guys still going side to side. They now need to leapfrog Valerie. And Andres is definitely going to lose out. And because Valerie is not giving it up that easily right now. Michael even bleeds off a little bit. Somehow Andres gets over to the inside. 2 minutes to go here. Craig Ream only has a half second up on Adam Baltudis now. Under 2 minutes in the race. Adam with a pretty decent exit there. Let's see if he's going to be able to close up to Craig ahead. He's got to stay in that slipstream for as much as possible. Craig doing a great little weave there. Hard to stay with him. It's down to point 2. Is he going to have a move into the inside and just outbrake him? Not this time. And Dustin Burkhalter staying perfectly into the slipstream there. As we start our final lap of the race. Down the S's they go. Michael McCoy is staying ahead in his little battle. And there's great battles going on all over the place. Paul Simmons Ochoa is the one who doesn't have one at the moment in the middle of the track. Oh, and Troy Banks is out of the race somehow. He and Kent Kruger. Oh, it says Troy Banks went off track and something bad happened to him there. Maybe he's currently in the pit lane, I believe. It's the fight for the final podium position. Craig Ream looks to hold on to the lead. This has got to be Dustin's moment if he's going to make anything happen. He's 0.2 behind. They're going to be drag racing down to the end. Oh, and John's still on the brakes there. Not able to get the exit he needs, but looks like he's able to stay ahead of Dustin for the drag race to the finish. That's Craig Ream crossing the line for first place, followed by Adam Baltudis behind. John Miller is going to come home for third, and Dustin Burkhalter 0.2 behind. Paul Simmons Ochoa is going to finish fifth. Michael McCoy back there able to finish in sixth place, at least ahead of Andres Garcia. Kent Kruger, not the best race for him. He's only able to come home 8th after starting the race on row 2. Matthew Cesario comes across in 9th this evening. James Dean has a decent race to finish in 10th if he can. He's still battling it out with Mark Bray. Looks like James Dean's going to finish in the top 10 there. Mark Bray is going to stay 11th in starting position. Troy Banks, unfortunately, I guess he should have started from the back, but has to settle for 12th after a great battle with Kent Kruger. Here's your race leader, well deserved after a grueling, difficult race here this evening. He had that major issue in the first 3 turns of the race. Ended up dropping back quite a handful. Climbed his way back up to the top. Made up about 7 seconds on Adam Baltudis to take that win. Congratulations, Craig. Thank you very much. As always, hit that thumbs down for me. Never bother to subscribe and hit the little bell an even number of times. Make sure you join us also for Wednesdays. We're going to try it again, the Camel GT Evolution Series here at Interlagos again, and then always for the big one, LMP2s and GTEs on Thursday evenings. Thanks for joining us again on Backseat Broadcast. We'll see you next time.